booming through the speakers. Yo, what is up? We are back for the conclusion of the matter, the final breakdown off of Sodi, the album, Rebirth. Let me go ahead and put that in the chat. How did I do this before? I'm gonna type it on my laptop and then pin it from my phone. Let's see if this works. Rebirth Breakdown. Jeremiah's here. Sydney's here. Sydney in the building. Jeremiah in the building. What? Oops, I didn't mean to do that. Laptop. Y'all want to do me a favor? Somebody want to type Rebirth Breakdown in the chat and I'll pin it, because my laptop just said, forget you, bro. The John just froze. You say, hey, buddy, man. You crunk? Oh, I know you crunk, Sid. I was watching your story and stuff. I was weak. Thank you, Sydney. Pin comment. All right, team. I'm going to jump right into it. I don't know. Savannah's coming. It's her favorite song, so she going to watch it, I'm sure. But it's late because I was running all over the world and whatnot. We're just going to jump into it. I don't even got no kind of merch supporting myself tonight on. It's the end of the John. We get into it. All right. So, excuse me. Oh, let me make sure this loops right. All right. So, this album does indeed have a story behind it. Like I said, or this song, I mean, like I said with the last song, how it didn't really have a story behind it. It was just kind of a thought. I mean, like my thought process. This one said, Matt, you're coming to your house after church. Sydney, okay. We might go. Oh, snap. We're hanging out tomorrow, but I think we're supposed to go to dinner with Aunt Gail. So after we go to dinner with Aunt Gail, we are hanging out. But I'm gonna talk to you when I get off here, actually, because I got something to tell you. So this song, it's like a short story, but basically, I was just sitting there. I made this beat. Actually, Organic and Rebirth, I made the beats like together. I used the same sample for the beat, but this one is just like literally the reverse. I took the beat from the sample from Organic and then reversed it for this beat. That's why they transition like so well into one another, and I like changed the pitch on it or something. But literally, I was just sitting there like humming. Like I made the beat. I was like, oh, I gotta use this one because I feel like I used to always make my best beats and then not use them. But I was like, I have to use this beat. And so I'm sitting there and like humming along with it. And the line came, like God put this in my head. There's no other way to say it. And it was weird because like it wouldn't sound like something you would think God would put in your head. And the line was, I believe in love more than I believe in Jesus. And I was just like, ooh, that's bold. I'm going to say that. I was like, I'm going to say that. And so, once I get to that part, I'll explain the line a little bit more. But, if you've been watching, you guys will probably understand. It'll make sense. And I'm not being, like, blasphemous or anything. So, basically, I took that thought, ran with it. And, again, a lot of the knowledge here comes from my studies just in English. And, of course, my experience being a church kid. But, like, again, that American literature, some world literature in that. So the hook starts with the hook. It says, I can't play every song that comes booming through the speakers. I made some choices wrong listening to every preacher. I had to dodge the dogma when listening to leaders. So very like blatantly, it's just saying I have to filter what I take in. I know a lot in church they'll preach about, oh, you can't listen to everything that comes on the radio. Like, that's like a clear example at that. But at the same time, I can't listen to every message that someone's preaching, because people get up and be preaching and be, who called it that? Prophesying. But no, not sometimes people be lying. I mean, sometimes people do be lying, but like sometimes people just be wrong, and I can't. Like, it's unfortunate that people are wrong sometimes, but like listening to them because you feel bad for them being wrong isn't gonna make your life go any better, or you going off of their advice go any better. So play every song that completely went through the speakers, made some choices wrong, listen to every preacher, had to dodge the dogma when listening to leaders. I feel like and this is not even just a church setting sense, like leaders in a lot of context have just dogmatic like things they'll push on, like they'll say not because they know it for themselves or like have done any studying, but just because people have taught them that, and for years and years that's been passed down, and because it's tradition, people just assume it's right, and that's not always right. Last year when things were like real bad after George Floyd was killed, I remember this one kid I went to high school with like hit me up, and Italian kid, and he was like, yeah, we were having a conversation about what was going on, and he said the strangest thing happened. Like, I was in West Virginia and people were like being racist to him for being Italian, and he was like, and he said it, and like when he said it I hadn't thought about it before, but it made so much sense. He was like, it's just all because of what Ma said and Pa said, and like if you would take the time to think about any of these things that just people have said for long, it makes absolutely no sense. You take 2 seconds to think about those things, it actually like does not make any sense when you have knowledge. And not to say that sounded like a shot at people who, but maybe they need that shot at them, I don't know. I don't want people to think that like when I do these things and I'm like spitballing or whatever, that I'm like not sure what I'm saying, because I'm kind of not sure what I'm saying, but at the same time that's like human, that's nature. I'm learning as well as I'm teaching, you know, like we're all learning together. I don't have all the answers. That's why I'm on here talking to y'all. It's a conversation more than it's just like a lesson. Let's learn, let us learn together. So I had to call on God when I'm lost. That's my keeper, you know, just basically God's my keeper. God's gonna keep me grounded, whatever. That's simple. I don't know. This isn't from my mom when I say that it's a rebirth. That line has the title of the song, honestly, and Organic and Rebirth both have the title like in the hook, but like I wrote the songs. Usually I'll come up with like, when I plan out an album, I'll go like, this is the story I wanted to tell, and then I'll sequence out like, these are the songs for each important moment, what I'm going to cover in each song. He said, let us learn. I might get those for like April Fools next year. We'll have one day sale shirts that say let us learn. If you don't buy them, you don't get them. But I usually like sequence out how I want the album to go, and I'll name the songs way before even writing them. And I had the ideas for the songs, but I didn't have like titles and stuff for all of them. I think these last three, I don't even know if I had a title for Case. I might have though. But these last two I really didn't until like after I wrote the songs, recorded the songs, and I went to save the file, like literally to save the file. I was like, dang, what am I going to call this? So I was looking through the lyrics and I was like, I think I had Steven listening to something. I was like, Steve, what do I call this? And he was like, I don't know, Matt, you got it. Like, this is it's your song. I was like, okay. And so I was like, does it make sense that I call it this word? And he was like, yeah, like listening to the song, it makes sense. And so, honestly, I was telling him too the other day, I said I really could have played it off like Organic and Rebirth was supposed to be like one big song called Organic Rebirth, because the way it transitions to one another and how like the titles kind of match like that, and the ideas blend, but they weren't. It just really worked out that way. And so that line says, this isn't from my mom when I say that it's a rebirth. For one, like, excuse me, of course you're born like from your mother, but like this birth of course is not physical. It's a spiritual rebirth, and also the, I guess, perspective I've taken since then differs from my mom. So that's why I'm like, it's what my mom would hold. So this isn't from my mom when I say it's a rebirth. Returning when you're gone makes the heart love deeper. You know, the old cliche, absence makes the heart grow fonder. I don't think that's always true. It's like, it applies in some cases, but like to me, it applied in a sense. I guess I wasn't really, say, gone, but I wasn't like all in, if that makes sense. Like, I needed, quote, to say a reason. Savannah, you're here. It's your favorite song. Reason to stay, reason to believe. And once I had the reason that shut down all my reasons not to believe, and it wasn't just like a vague shutdown, oh, just believe just because. It was like, nah, believe like because this, blah, 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 not just believe for no reason. That's why my walk with God is so like different. So it's different. First of all, like, I'm the type of person, I feel like now, that if somebody didn't know me, and like as church people say, didn't know me, took a first glance, would probably be talking smack and be like, oh, he not saved, blah 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 blah. But like, y'all don't know my walk with God. It's so different now, and then stronger because like I'm at a point where I can, like, I don't know, like, I can say things about God that that like are just true to me, like that I don't feel like there's anything that I say about God at this point that I don't that I have to question or like really wonder. Like, I say things and like I know that, or if I say something that I don't know, I'm gonna say that I don't know that. That's the point where I'm at. I'm not at this place where like my faith now isn't me being blind. My faith is me knowing that there's more that I don't know, if that makes sense. So okay. Returning when you God makes the heart love deeper. That's what I say. Don't count on what these last 3 lines I love, or I guess 4 lines. Don't count on what I taught, but don't doubt I'm a believer. So literally it means like, I don't want you to assume when I say that I believe in God. That's like the term that I like to use now. I don't really like to use the word Christian because I told y'all there's a lot of judginess that often comes off with the word Christian, and the idea of Christ anyway, like Jesus and Christ being the translated, that's a whole nother. So don't doubt on what I'm taught. So I don't want y'all to think of what y'all traditionally like. Take me out the box. Don't put me in this Christian box. Get me out of that. But don't doubt I'm a believer. I still believe in God the Father, God the Son, God the Holy Spirit. I still believe in God. And then the last line, I believe in love more than I believe in Jesus. Thank you so much, Jeremiah. Excuse me. Because you sent me 1 Corinthians 13, the beginning of it, where it's just like, if I speak with men, tongues of angels, blah, 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 I have all these professionalities and pleasantries and whatever, I sound good, everything I'm saying makes sense to you, but I don't have love, I'm nothing. And literally, like I've been saying, God is love. Where is that scripture where it says that? I'm sure I said that. 1 John 4:7. Because love is from God, and whoever knows God. Yeah, okay, 4:8 is where the actual verse I like to use. And literally, if something's not in love or done out of love, it's not done from God or godly. And so, that's where I believe in love. Love is God. God is love. Inversely, like, they are one. There's no separation between love and God. And so I believe in love more than I believe in Jesus. I'm trying to go to Tuesday after church. Sydney, quit talking in my chat. I'm gonna sit you down. No, I'm just playing. I believe in love more than I believe in Jesus. I believe in, like, God is love. Like I was saying, it's like a, what's the word? Homogeneous mixture. Is that the right one? Where they're like not, you can't take the parts, take them apart. It's one thing. And whereas Jesus is like the I told you, the European translation that has been really like just has a bad image to me, and so I don't like. Jesus comes off as very colonizery to me, and so that's why I'm like, Yeshua, Jesus, yeah. So believe in Jesus, and then that's where that line comes up. So I again, I don't want people to think I'm being blasphemous or whatever, but take it how you take it, because that's how God gave it to me. Also, I really contemplated getting merch for that line that was going to say like love and then have the greater than symbol, and then pointing to love. I mean, like eating love, I guess, because love is bigger, and then Jesus. But I could not bring myself to do that. Like, I get that that's the message that it was trying to get across, but I don't think it's right for me to profit off of something where that could potentially cause people to read it the wrong way and think that like, yeah, we don't need to discredit God altogether because of my perspective on colonizer Jesus, if that makes sense. So I think I could, if I was wearing it, I'd be willing to have conversation with people and explain the idea, but like everybody else, if I made that, people are gonna buy it out without watching this live, without having a conversation with me, and have no idea, and people are just gonna be turning away from God, because that sounds like really dramatic, but like literally people would be like turning their back on God because of something they see on their shirt and make them think about it. And so I don't think everybody who would buy the shirt would have the background knowledge and information to like have that conversation with all the people they meet and come across. And even then, like, everyone that sees it isn't gonna ask a question. They're gonna see it and think something anyway. So I thought about doing it too with having the verse on the back, but I don't know. Right now, I kind of still like the idea of it, so I might make one for myself and then not sell it, because I just really don't feel consciously like okay profiting from that potential controversy. So then the verse starts. It says, exactly, the controversy would have been absolutely ridiculous, Sydney. Imagine me wearing that to church. I might actually, I think when I'm gonna get the shirt, I'm gonna wear it to church, and we can have a conversation. That'll be a very interesting Sunday, I'll tell you that. So the verse starts, God is love. I've been praying it start raining. I've been thanking God above. Jeremiah said I'd be here for it. Here for the conversation, not the controversy. I know what you mean, but I'm making sure if someone watches it again, they know. Yeah, it might as well, because if I get kicked out for that, that's funny, but not too unlikely. So I've been thinking, God is love. I've been praying it start raining. I've been thanking God above. That's just kind of a little nod back to Case, where I talked about how God reigns, but also the rain, like they followed the glory cloud. I've been thanking God above. I've been in a season where like, Corey, what's up, cuz? I've been real thankful, like trying my hardest, like being intentional about not taking things for granted. Like, y'all know how I do my happiness is post every night on Snapchat. Like, when I post that, like, I make sure to go to thank God for all these things, the things surrounding that make that to happen, the people surrounding that, whatever. So I've been thanking God above. I've been praying to I am, who I am is God. Like, that's how God introduced God's self in Exodus. If y'all read your Bible. The gospel talent join. What's up, the gospel talent? And so that's how God introduced God's self. That's what I'm saying. I am. I've been praying to I am, and I've been praying as the Son. If you read the Bible in the Lord's Prayer, you're supposed to pray in Yeshua's or in Jesus's name. So like praying as the Son, and not only like in his name, but also like when he says it, he's literally, when you pray like this. So I've been praying as him, like in the same manner, in the Our Father. And I had like a mind-blowing like realization one day when he said pray like this. That doesn't mean like copy like Our Father which art in heaven, hallowed be. Like, that's cool, like that's the Lord's Prayer, you could say that, recite that and whatever. Like it's good to do, like it'll get you through, but like literally that is such a like effective pattern for prayer. Like you go pray like, okay, so you acknowledge who God is, God's power, like acknowledge God, respect God, reverence God, hallowed be thy name, give us day, like thank God, ask God for the bare necessities first, and then go to the specifics. And then before you close out, you want to make sure like you capitalize on who God is, who God, like what God is able to do, God's power, because you're like, and for me, that's the thing, who I am, where I am now, that doesn't look like, oh dear heavenly being, celestial God with a great big scepter in space, thou hast, no, that's God. Look, dog, you already know you was out here doing all this stuff. I mean, I'll go into specifics, like you did this, you did that, XYZ. Look, I appreciate that because XYZ, blah 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 blah. Look, like I'm so thankful, go on forever how thankful I am. And I'm like, look, I got a couple things. I said, first off, you know the situation, but I'm gonna spell it out because God said to ask. Like, you have not because you ask not. That's what in Matthew, I want to say. And so just spelling it out, and like, you know, XYZ, what's going on exactly. No need for all the extraness. I feel like a lot of it is so performative at this point, and it gets tired. Like, it really seems kind of arrogant. I'm sorry, like I feel bad because I don't be wanting to pray with people because they just want to pray like I don't pray like y'all no more. And so like when I'm asked to pray for something or even bless the food, I'll do my like, I'll take it like a step up to put on the front to like, oh God, dear Heavenly Father, blah, blah, blah. But like that's not how I'm praying. It's just talking to God. I'm like, God, you like, you know this XYZ, blah 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 blah. Look, dog. And I talk to God like God's my friend, because me and God are like that at this point. Like, that's my dog on everything. And I'm like, you already know what's going on, blah blah blah. She was tripping about this, he was tripping about this, my boss was blah blah blah. At school, I'm worried about this. You see how stressed I am. You know what the vibes are. But like for real. So I'm like, and I do my best. There's a couple things I'm like, God, it really be super dope if they would work out this way. But at the end of the day, your will, like whatever your plan is, I'm cool with that. That's fine. Just let me know. We can roll. That is what it is. And I'm like, I already know. Like, you got it. I don't got to worry about it. And that's something. There are so many things. When I was younger, I used to pray like night after night after night and say the same things over and over and over. God heard you. God knows. God knew before, but like when you said it, God heard you. And I feel like church people will say, I mean, it says it in the scripture, like it's in the Bible, if I had 1,000 tongues, I could not praise you enough. That's true, but also I don't want to say waste time asking for the same things over, but like when you're saying the same things over and over and over, I mean, God heard you the first time. There's other things I can be praying for. Like I can do what I can do. If it's different, you can work at the same thing over and over and over and keep working at it because you're just a guy. Like, you're just man. That's all you can do. But like, you tell God, God's got it on the list or not, depending on what God's will is. I'm not gonna be nagging God. So I asked God like a couple times maybe, and then I just like let it hang. If something I see like nothing seems to be getting done, I'll be like, every now and then I'll throw it back in there. But like there's so many things that I could be spending my time better praying for those instead of the same housewife and kids that I want every single night. You know what I'm saying? So like I got friends and even then the same like friends that need to be need to know God, the same problems going on I see in the world, like even then I have like a rotation. It's not saying the same things over and over and over, because like imagine, I know y'all got friends who every time you talk to them it's the same thing over and over and over. They don't want to hear that every single time you hang out with them. Sometimes I'm just trying to chill, but here we're talking about what, never mind, let me not go there. Y'all know what I'm saying though. So been praying as a son. I've been praying that the Spirit give me power like a gun. I forgot that I did the student then, so I reference like the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit, like line after line after line. Been praying who I am, and I've been praying as a son. I've been praying that the Spirit gives me power like a gun. I said, as I look amongst you all, hey. I've been praying as a son. I've been praying that the Spirit gives me power like a gun. Low key, that was kind of just like a really lazy line that just came to me, because like if you have a gun in a room of people who don't have guns, you're probably the most powerful person in the room, like have the most control in the room at that moment. So I'm just like, let me and of course the Spirit came to give us power. Read Acts 2. So then I just do the do little gun noises. Even more though, I've been praying for my aim and my trajectory. So I was like, all right, how can I use this gun metaphor for good instead of just playing it off as a lazy line? So I would rather be able to reach people and like know what I'm doing is gonna matter than just do a lot. You know what I mean? I'd rather have, because like, I'm trying to think of, I'd rather be able to like hit. All right, you know Brave, when she had the arrow, okay? I'd rather be able to hit a target than shoot a bow and like make it shatter for absolutely no reason. Like, what do you gain from that? If you can make a bow shatter when you shoot it, but you can't hit something when you're hunting, like, you gonna be hungry. You're going hungry. And so I'm like, I need to make sure that what I'm doing is mattering to people. I don't care if I get like all this music and like I blow up, make $1 trillion off of it, get a nice house. I don't care. Yeah, I have a lot of power, which, like I said, I was praying for like power, influence, that I have the impact, but like you can't have impact without contact, and I need the contact to happen for more than I need the impact to happen. I like that. Y'all write that down. I sound like my mom. Life lesson, write this down. I need the contact to happen more than I need the impact to happen. And so maybe we might get merch off of that. So yeah, for my aim and my trajectory, God showed me where to go. Like, I was looking in the directories. Like, I don't want to have, all this influence and I'm putting it in the wrong places. Like, God, like, literally order my steps. Like, you know, when you look in the directory, it shows you where like people live or where to go, like whatever. So that's what I need. I need guidance, because if I'm out here doing stuff by myself, it's gonna go, it could go decent, but it's not gonna go the way it should. Like, I'm not gonna have as much of an impact. I could have impact, but I'm not gonna have the right impact, and probably not as much contact. So for my aim and my trajectory, looking in directory, God, teach me to prepare these people's needs like it's a recipe. I mean, just give me, I need to be able to make something that's effective to people. I can't be here preaching, or we can't be preaching in church about we can't be in church preaching about how to get and keep a husband or a wife when everybody in the church is already married? That doesn't make sense. And in happy marriages, that doesn't make sense. You know what I'm saying? So I'm not trying to make music for people who I'm not trying to make music that's common knowledge that people already know. Like, that's not what I'm trying to do. And I'm just like, I'm open like a sesame. I'm at the point where, like, I'm down to be wrong. Like, if I have an idea I think it's pretty good, but like, if I hear a better idea, I'm not gonna be like, get my feelings hurt because that idea was better than mine. I'm like, oh, I like that. That's a great idea. I'm with that. Let's roll with that and do that instead. If God showed me better idea, somebody comes into my life and shows me a better idea, I don't care. I'm with that anyway. I'm open like a sesame. Then it goes back to the hook. I forgot about this part when I was talking about this earlier. I can't play every song that comes booming to the speakers. I forgot. Literally, like I was saying, I have to make music that people need, because mainstream music, I hate mainstream, especially mainstream hip hop. It's so bad. It's so garbage. And I'll die on that hill. There's nobody's just, people just want like sex and drugs, and like it's overt, and like sometimes the beats ain't even that good, and the words are just, Dr. Seuss could have written these words and like sold them to kids almost sometimes. And I'm just like, bro, and these people are stealing y'all's money over whatever. Like, y'all ever see that I know y'all seen that clip with Thunder Girl on Genius, where he said, I like to make music that touches people, that moves people, and then it cuts and she goes clap, 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 clap. Y'all know what scene I'm talking about, and if not, I'm gonna send it to all y'all that's in the live right now, because y'all are gonna know which one I'm talking about. It's just garbage, and I feel like it's really stupid and basic. And y'all know that period where a lot of people were like, when this rapper said this, I felt that, and they were just post that on their Twitters and whatnot. I kind of like, I was like, y'all was feeling that, because these lines, garbage. And not that I think I'm like the greatest lyricist in the world or nothing, but I have to listen to music with substance. And even in Christian music and Christian hip hop, Christian CCM, gospel music, there are some trash lyrics in church songs, and I will say that. Absolute garbage. 2 out of 10, Savannah says. Exactly. Some garbage gospel songs that we just let fly because, oh, it's for the Lord. No, it's whack. It's garbage. That song is not good. I do not like it. And I can't listen to all that stuff. And I feel like, from a church perspective, I feel like because the church is I won't say not, but is very hesitant to grow, the music is just going to become repetitive. Y'all can only say the same stuff so many different ways to so many different beats. Y'all gotta learn. Exactly. Give me melodies from heaven. I'll sing that John forever. But like, I don't have any examples, which is good, because I don't want to call out or embarrass nobody on my live with 3 viewers. But yeah. So anyways, yeah. So that's that. I'm gonna leave that alone now. So then we get to the second verse where it says, I believe in Yahweh. That's not the same as Jesus, which I made there's a really good word for this. Give me a second. I'm about to look it up on dictionary.com, because it was the word of the day, but that was probably like a month ago, and I was like, this word, fire. See, no. I need like more words of the day. I have the dictionary.com app because I want to learn new words, but like, I don't be using it that as much as I should, because it just pops up like first thing in the morning. I'm not trying to see that right then. How am I remember it? And especially like, I don't know what I was going to say, especially. It literally, Sydney, I got joy in my soul. But like, how many church songs do we have that say that? Now this means war is a bop. I'm not going to shy away from saying that. That song is a bop. But ooh, that's a good word. I remember liking that one when it came out on my notification. It started with a P because there's the opposite that starts with an S. I'm gonna go back like 3 more times. I'm gonna click the button like 3 more times, and if I don't see the word there, then we're gonna move on. I bleed. Exactly. You can only plead the blood. There's so many different instrumentals. There's so many different chord progressions. Before people are like, hey, all right, you could start, because literally you could hear there's church songs that you hear for the first song, new songs will come out, and you already know what the word's gonna be because somebody said it already in a different song. Am I wrong? Y'all tell me whether I'm wrong or not. Is that it? That's not it, I don't think. No, that's not it. I knew that wasn't it too. But I'm gonna find that word. Oh, is that it? No. Alright. Well, moving on. Basically a word that, like, I'm not gonna say quote unquote Jesus just because everybody says Jesus, like that's the popular term to call the Son of God. I'll call Yahweh or Yeshua because that's just, I don't want to say, like, I don't hate Jesus, but like I'm a little leery of Jesus because I told y'all he gives me the colonizer vibes. I lied when he said you ain't lied yet, but Sydney said I lied when I said I'd be on at 10:30. Look, bro, I had to like, they put me on delivery stuff tonight. I was delivering a pizza, just one though, not for the store, for family. For family, where's Vin Diesel at? But yeah. I believe in Yahweh. That's not the same as Jesus. Which, like, it's really only a semantic difference. Like I told you on the last live, like if a baby calls you Baba instead of Dad, you gonna know that baby's talking to you. You're not gonna ignore the baby till he says Dad. Y'all see that clip? He's like, that baby said Dada, my name James. Like, you're not gonna do that. Guys. But Jesus, Yahweh, Yeshua, whatever you want to call him, the Son of God is not going to, or God the Son is not going to ignore you because you're not calling him the right name. So I said, it's not the same as Jesus. That's who I call God. That's the opposite of evil. I mean, yeah. Like I said, God, in the last song, God is literally just a title. And I just wanted to make it known here that, like, I do not believe in a God of evil. There are God's evil entities that have been deemed gods by other people or groups of people. Those are not my gods, or any of them. So opposite of evil, that's who I call on when I'm wrestling with demons. Just like literally, God's got the power. I got the power. Like, y'all know what's the story where the disciples went and they couldn't cast out the demon, and Yeshua was like, look, bro, y'all just didn't have the faith for it. Like, God had the power right there. It was casting out the demons. So that's who I call on when I'm wrestling with demons. He gave me steps to beat them. He taught me water breathing. This is a reference to, what's that anime called? Demon Slayer. Literally Demon Slayer. Great anime. Excited for, movie was really good. Excited for season 2's coming out in October. Where literally there's like this big head demon that just goes around killing people, like they feed, and turning other people into demons, and basically they have to like eat people to stay alive. You know, that's their definition of demon. But the story after the transfiguration, Matthew 17. That's what, yeah, because I remember Uncle John was preaching on that heavy for a while. He preached at a strong tower to one time. Thank you, Jeremiah. But when I'm wrestling with demons, he gave me steps to beat them. He taught me water breathing. So there are like these different forms in the anime. There's like actually, here's one of the characters. This is Zenitsu. He has like the electric power, so I guess it's thunder breathing. Yeah, that's what he has. Me, Zach, and Steven all watched the show, so they had a conversation and decided who would be who from that show, and they said I was Zenitsu, because he's kind of like a wimp, but like his powers come alive when he goes to sleep, so I guess that's me, apparently. But the main character, Tanjiro, he uses water breathing, and like they have swords, and like they literally through their breathing like are able to control water, thunder, and something. I mean, it's a little more complicated than that, but that's the gist of it. And so water breathing is just literally a way for me to say that like I have the power to take down these demons, because that's what he does in the show. It's just he's slaying demons. Gave me steps to beat them. He taught me water breathing. He taught me water walking. Story of Jesus and Peter, Yeshua and Peter again, walking on the boat, like, or walking on water. Like, it's just me having faith. I learned faith from God, which I say in the next line. He taught me about faith. He caught me I was falling. He taught me about grace. That's interesting, because I'm really just noticing how many times I said he, even though I talked about how, like, well, I guess I was talking about the God in the form of the Son instead of they. He taught me about faith. Like, I learned, I'll just get to that because that's a later line. He caught me I was falling. He taught me about grace. I have a song on my album from last year called Solstice. The album was called Solstice. The song was called Grace, where literally I woke up one morning and I was like, yo, dog, I need to read about this. And so I spent like 2 hours studying Exodus 33. Oh my God, there's so much good in there. Where like, I don't want to get into it that much right now, because I'll be here a whole however much longer. But Moses was like, but God, like, I did all this stuff, and God was basically like, yeah, I know, that's why I picked you, because you did that stuff, not in spite of you doing that stuff. I wanted you for that reason. And so once I realized that gave me a whole new look on like what grace is and God's grace. Next line, it is a great chapter, Jeremiah. Probably that's in my like favorites that I've studied. I learned it in the field because talking couldn't emulate. Like, I literally was, that's like something I had to learn from experience, like doing the research myself, going through things myself, and being like, okay, God is still calling me. Like, God, why would you call me and want me to do this, give me this opportunity to do this, despite how many times I've done something that I thought was like out of line, or like that your word literally deems out of line. And God was like, that's why, because you know what it's like to be out there, or not like out there as people say, but you know what it's like to be in those situations, and some people up behind a pulpit don't, so that's why I want you for this. Because talking couldn't emulate. It's just like people preaching at me and telling me stuff, it just doesn't do the same for me, especially because a lot of people don't really go into detail. They just say, I was sinning, but now I'm saved now. But what was you doing, dog? Like,
Gibson.
I was sinning, but I'm saved now. Okay, cool. How? Like, and it's not just like I said in case. It's not just a switch. You just flip on, like, all right, I'm gonna stop doing all this stuff. Nah, it's the process. Like, you gotta physically unlearn some things. And if y'all want to talk, anybody want to talk, I'll talk. I'll open up. Let's go. But that's what I'm saying. Talking couldn't emulate. It didn't do it for me. We need to know what you was doing in case we were going through the same thing. Exactly. Tell me how you got through so I can get through. Literally, the word says we overcome by the words of our testimony. How you not testifying? How you not testifying? We can't overcome. It does not work. So we just stuck. And you up there, allegedly, have you really overcome then if you're not testifying? Because if the words aren't there, in a natural sense, it seems like you don't want to talk about it because you ain't really past it. You really past something, you gonna talk about it, because that's not even me no more. I'm not even there no more. We only testify about blessings. Exactly. And so we need the complete testimony. Exactly. Like, there's a lot, and that's the thing. the church structure will have it set up so one way that when someone does get up and testify about what they was really doing, we gonna want to take the mic from them or say, oh, they don't need to hear that. Y'all remember that video where the lady said, she literally said, she was like, I was a prostitute, I was doing, y'all know which video I'm talking about. I know y'all specifically because I don't want to say everything in graphic detail like she said, but y'all know what video I was talking about. I'll send that to you if y'all don't know either. But and they people got mad. Nah, I was like, let sis talk, because I guarantee you there is more than a handful of people in that audience in that situation, and y'all not gonna let her talk about it. I don't think that's exactly, literally talking about what God delivered them. We know, and those are the facts, the things that we can prove that people don't do no more when they talk about those things. But then all the other things, it's a little leery, like we don't know, because we don't know what you were doing or are. I don't know. We're getting into shady business here. Good morning, happy Sunday, everybody. So I learned it in the field because talking couldn't emulate. It just didn't do it for me. And I think that is a skill that I do have to learn about. Like, I can learn things without going through them. I'm thankful that some people have to go through things. But if y'all are going to talk to me and not tell me what you went through, I can't learn from that. You just said, there was something, but now there is nothing. What am I supposed to learn from that? Vanna, we're almost through. We got one more verse. And so, I mean, I leveled on experience because watching don't relate. Literally, like, I leveled up. I was thinking about Pokemon. There's the experience share that you use to level up. It's an item. But like, I literally leveled up on experience because watching, it just didn't do the same for me. Which I feel like in some situations I can watch and learn again, but other situations, like, I have to go through it for myself, which sucks, but you got to learn somehow. Let's learn. So then the last verse, it says, yeah, been in places where the chosen set the standard. Oh, I love this verse so much. All I see is people with the power regulating manners. The people who have literally been, God said, like, these are my people, the Israelites, the Pharisees, now the church, all of them are all the people who make these rules. Okay? And are like, because God calls them chosen, these people like go and like, all right, well, here's all these rules. Now, if everybody doesn't live by them, we're gonna, in this time, we're gonna, pretty much in every time, we're gonna talk trash about you, absolute trash, and like make you basically not feel like a person. And the next line, I'm talking sanctuary and America, because like clerically in the church, we do an absolutely awful job of just being nice to people that don't fit these set of rules. And as a country, it's the same way, especially historically. What's up, Bree? And like I was telling y'all in the old American writings where they were just like, this is for God, but then like Thomas Jefferson, I got so much beef with that child. If I ever like met him, it'd be on sight, because he was just like, this is for God, and then this next thing he was writing, he was like, yeah bro, black people look like monkeys, this and that, it's so disgusting how he went into so much depth about how disgusting, which is crazy all things considered if you know about Thomas Jefferson. I'm sorry. Y'all don't know what I'm saying, just know that there are a lot of black people today with the last name Jefferson. That's all I'm gonna say. So there's that, and they had all these standards, exactly, all these founding fathers that had all these standards that America has still been found. Some people grew up in the church. Do they know God more than more people who know saved in life? Exactly. People who had God handed down to them think they know God more than people who have had God, a one-on-one experience with God, which is, it's just not true. And so they have all these standards, and like, if people don't, they think, okay, she's talking about you, Sydney. Nobody is talking about you. I don't think so anyway. But all these standards that, like, they think, okay, so I was chosen by God, all right? This is the perspective. I'm talking to this camera. This is this camera. I was chosen by God. These are my standards. That must mean they're God's standards. Not true. And so they think that if someone's standards are different, that they must be out of God's will, out of God's plan, and then they just throw them to hell. Like, no, that's not how it works. I told y'all, Acts 10:28. Who was it? Was it Peter or Paul? I always get this one mixed up. Paul, I think. Yeah, it was Paul. Went to Cornelius's house and was being racist. He was racist, but he still spoke in tongues. The power of the Holy Ghost fell. That is not an endorsement. The Holy Ghost there, it's not an endorsement for everything you're doing, but it's noting that there's power in what you are doing, and something that you are doing was ordained by God. It's not endorsing every single action about you. You don't have to be perfect to be filled with the Holy Ghost and speak in tongues. You can't be perfect. That's another topic for another day. So I'm saying, in America as a country and in the church as an establishment, we have these issues where we just make the rules, and if people don't like them, it's my way or the highway, basically. So then we don't ever want to help but claim we gave out all the answers. We always talking about, man, I don't see why people won't serve God, or in the country, like, I don't see why, like, you just pull yourself up by the bootstraps, do this. And these are very conservative. When I'm talking about America, these are very, like, conservative perspectives. Not like, of course, the country's, we know the country's polarized right now, but in a very, like, founding way, these are what I guess we've been built on. And interestingly enough, I can't think of who wrote this. I want to find it out. Literally wrote an article. It was like, look, America is gonna, like, the way we're building this is not right, because we're just gonna have a fight between the people who have all this money and the people who have no money. And so once the people, money, like, or power, interchangeably, really, in the way this country runs, but it was like, once the people who have the power start losing power, they're going to feel like they're being oppressed, and the people who don't have it, they're just going to feel like they've always been oppressed. They just want to be equal, and it's not going to go right. And so all these people, when things that are not their standards, the chosen one's standards, are challenged, they feel like it's an attack. And they're like, but we gave y'all the answers. This is all y'all have to do to be chosen. No. God was choosing people, flawed people, the whole Bible. I told y'all, Peter was racist. Moses, I mean, he stuttered, I guess. Who else was I just specifically? Noah just was an alcoholic. Like, people all over that. David was sleeping with Bathsheba, who was not his wife. Killed David, let me pause there, park the car, get out, walk around a few times, do a few laps, put some gas in it, and then go off, because David literally saw this woman. Let me make it plain for y'all. Paul was a killer, exactly, killing other chosen people. But let me start with David, because this man literally was going through Instagram, saw this chick. All right, I'm gonna make it modern for y'all. Saw this chick, saw her man's name in her bio, went to his page, made a private account, sent this dude, made this dude fall off. He had some of his goonies pick him off. I mean, really wasn't his goonies, but like, he had the ops pull up on Uriah, and then gonna be like, oh dang, that's crazy, your husband died, but I'm here now, child. And God still used David. So I'm not hearing jack squat about nobody because of standards and rules. No, that's bullcrap. And so we gave out all the answers. No, you didn't. And then it's just like, they called it God when they were taking over land. Like I told y'all, they were like, all right, we're conquering this land, and because it worked out, it's for God, and this is what God wanted it. Not exactly. That's not exactly. He was still a man after God's own heart, Jeremiah. Exactly. How you kill a man so you could, for the sole purpose of sleeping with his wife, and then still be after. Well, I guess he slept with her, then killed her because the baby. But the motive was the same, and then still be a man after God's own heart. Oh wait, because humanity is flawed. It's that simple, and just people don't get that. But let me come off the soapbox with that. And literally, Jeremiah, that's just the tip of the iceberg of what he did. There's so much. We could dig into David all day, but we're gonna let him rest in peace. They called it God when they was taking over land. Like I said, they was like, all right, we're killing all these people, genocide, raping all these women, stealing, looting, burning, all that. The Bible is so messy. That's why it's good. I told you I need a Bible anime, and people keep saying that, but nobody's putting in the work for it. I'd do a Bible reality show, low key. I don't really like reality TV, but a Bible reality show, that'd be good for me. We don't ever want to come taking over land. Ooh, they called it God putting my people in the pen. The same way they said. That's why I told you I got a problem with Revelation in the anime. Woo-hoo! That joint would be so active, bro. No questions about it. Real Housewives of the Bible. Literally, Real Housewives of Jerusalem. We could have a whole, but it could be like a big thing, and we have a lot of different sections. Real Housewives of Jerusalem, Real Housewives of Israel, Real House. Yeah. Real Housewives of Mesopotamia. Yeah, all that. Real Housewives of Egypt. So they call it God putting my people in the pen. The same God, the same Jesus. That's why I told you I got a little bit of beef with colonizer Jesus. I mean, I got a lot of beef with colonizer Jesus, because colonizer Jesus is just the front. But like, that's why I can only be cordial with Jesus as the name, because it's given to colonizer Jesus. But was the same person who they said like was behind all the taking over lands. That's the same reason that they're giving for the mass incarceration of black people in America, like, because they're keeping, by the standards of the country, we are tainting the image of what the country should be. That's a slightly simplified version, but like, it's not that exaggerated from some people's perspective. Like, that's what a lot of people will say, and they're like, they're doing God's work, getting these people off the streets and just incarcerating. No rehabilitation, is just locking them up, so we can't vote, we don't have power, can't do XYZ, so all the people in power can stay in power and run stuff for themselves and get what they want. They called it God when what was love was up to them, and I needed something. I specifically went to Stephen. There are some of my best lines, like, Stephen writes, and it's not like that often where Stephen will write like a line for me, maybe once or twice on an album, really, and it'll just be one line. I ask him, I'm like, yo, how do I finish this? I want to say this and I need it to rhyme. How do I finish this? And so I said, I want to specifically address how homophobic, transphobic, anti-LGBTQIA plus the church is as an institution, or even the country is as an institution, if we're being honest. But also, this is the rhyme scheme. I need it to fit right here. But this is the message that I need to get across in this line. And he said they call it God when what was love was up to them. And literally, what the church deems like, oh, this isn't love, they're saying God said this is not. And so that's why, again, God is a title. God is not an entity. God is a title. I serve I am Yeshua. And so the things that y'all are putting on this pedestal is not I am and Yeshua. Y'all got white colonizer Jesus up here in blackface. Like I said, it's not black Jesus, it's white Jesus in blackface. And then beside him, you got all these rules and standards to where y'all are actually serving. And so they called it God when what was love was up to them, because they just deem what love is in these situations. And so then going along with the idea of love, that God was hateful in the end, because it's not love to tell these people, hey, you're just straight up, you're going to hell because of this, because of who you are. It's not love to say, hey, you're going to jail for who you are, or because of the circumstances you were in, you were trying to do something to provide for your family, and it just fell that way. Well, you're going to jail for the rest of your life. It's not God to say, hey, I know you guys had a good thing going here, but we don't like our homeland, so we're going to come over here, burn your houses, rape your women, kill you guys, and just all that. That's not love. And so that's why I said that God is hateful in the end. That's why I can't play every song, and that's why I back into the hook. I can't be listening to all these people, all these things people are saying, because people be wrong, and people don't be knowing people be wrong, but people be wrong. And then the quote at the end, what does Josh say? Oh yeah, he's just like, yeah, I see what you want, I see what you want. So that was like the beginning of the album, the first quote. He says, oh, this is good right here. Like, he knows that it's about to be good. Like, whoever's listening knows it's about to be good. But at the end, he's like, at the end, it's like the aha, I get it moment. And so yeah, that is Rebirth, and that's the album really. I really, really enjoyed doing these breakdowns, and I'm gonna miss it because I don't have anything else. I mean, I have older music to go back and break down. Maybe I'll do. Would y'all be down if I do dive into my old songs like once a week and do a breakdown? Because I got bars. I've been had bars. The quality of music has been like on the rise, but the bars have always been there. Bet I'll do that then. We'll do like a breakdown a week of older music. I appreciate y'all for tuning in. I don't know if y'all have questions or anything else to say. I feel like y'all been saying everything the whole time. But if you haven't already, I mean, for y'all who are here and people who are gonna watch, go listen to the album, please. SOTI is on, SOTI is on like everywhere, anywhere you listen to music. And appreciate y'all watching this, taking time on it. Please share this with people. Let you know what song so I can play it. You can play it ahead of time. Alright, I'll let y'all know. Maybe I'll start announcing the song on Sundays, and then I'll like pick a day in the week where we'll break it down. Savannah, I was listening to what was that song we did? Another Day the other week. We need to do that live, dog. Do you know how hard that would go live? Said I cannot go to Ruby Tuesdays tomorrow because we're going somewhere with Aunt Gail. But I will say, yeah, please, you guys enjoyed this. Please like it, share it, let people know, people who you think who will like enjoy it. I mean, people you don't think who enjoy it, I don't care, share it with whoever. 12 out of 10, appreciate it. That song was so fire. But I appreciate y'all for watching. I'm gonna just say the same things over and over. Like, share, whatever, post on your stories, all that fun stuff. Appreciate y'all for coming. Love y'all. Peace. I'll talk to y'all. Do a poll on Sundays. Ooh, Sydney, that's a great idea. I'm gonna do a poll on Sundays for which song. I like that. Alright, that's what we'll do. But may the Lord watch. This has been SOTI. Peace out, y'all.